Most people look at a .22 rifle and see a starter gun. Something simple, maybe even boring. But I've spent years pulling these things apart, and I'm telling you, some of the smartest engineering decisions in firearms history are buried inside these little rimfires. Design tricks that changed the entire industry. Stuff that most shooters walk right past without ever knowing it's there. Today I'm counting down 10 .22 rifles with engineering secrets that deserve way more attention than they get. And a few of these are probably sitting in your safe right now. If you're into this kind of deep-cut firearms content, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let's get into it. Number 10. The Springfield Model 1922. Here's something most people don't realize. After World War I, the U.S. military had a serious problem. They needed to train thousands of soldiers on marksmanship fundamentals, but burning through .30-06 ammo for basic training was eating the budget alive. So Springfield Armory built something clever. They made a .22 caliber training rifle that was basically a dimensional clone of the Model 1903 service rifle. Same length of pull, same sight radius, same heavy walnut stock, same weight in your hands. This wasn't some scaled-down toy, it was a full-weight military instrument. The bolt throw was designed to feel identical to the service rifle, so a soldier could spend all day on the range building real muscle memory, breathing, trigger control, sight picture, with almost zero recoil and dirt-cheap ammo. And it worked. The guys who trained on these rifles went on to become some of the most accurate combat shooters in World War II. Now, the upside for collectors, these things are absurdly well made. The barrel quality and the overall stability give you accuracy that most modern sporting .22s can't touch. The downside? They're heavy for a rimfire. Original magazines are a nightmare to find, and there's no easy way to mount modern optics. Since these are military surplus collectibles, there's no retail price. On the collector market, expect to pay somewhere between $1,500 and north of $3,000, depending on condition and provenance. Number 9. The Winchester Model 1890. This is one of my favorite pieces of firearms trivia. Back in the early 1900s, shooting galleries, carnival booths, boardwalk attractions burned through more .22 ammo than the military used for training. And the gun doing all that work? The Winchester Model 1890. John Browning designed this pump-action .22, and it was absolutely perfect for the job. Exposed hammer, fast slide action, tubular magazine under an octagonal barrel. The thing fed reliably, ejected cleanly, and it was genuinely fun to shoot. Which is exactly what you want when you're charging a nickel a turn. Some carnival operators reported running hundreds of thousands of rounds through a single gun with nothing more than a wipe down and a drop of oil. That's insane durability for any firearm, let alone one from the 1890s. What made this gun matter beyond the boardwalk is that it introduced millions of regular Americans to shooting, people who never would have picked up a rifle otherwise. The pump action is fast and satisfying. It's a takedown design. One thumb screw and it splits in half for transport. But here's the catch. A lot of these were chambered in .22 short, not long rifle. And good luck finding original replacement parts in 2026. No retail price, obviously. On the collector market, a good original runs between $800 and $2,000, depending on caliber, wood condition, and how much factory bluing is left. Number 8. The Savage Mark II. Alright, here's where we jump to the modern era, and this one is really about solving a problem that plagued the entire industry for decades. For years, American gun manufacturers were terrified of lawsuits, so they shipped rifles with heavy, gritty, terrible triggers, on purpose. The logic was simple. If the trigger pull is 8 pounds, nobody's going to accidentally fire the gun when they drop it out of a tree stand. Problem solved, right? Except it also meant your factory rifle couldn't shoot straight. Serious shooters had to immediately spend money on aftermarket triggers or gunsmith work just to make the thing usable. Savage fixed this with the AccuTrigger. It's a patented system with a small blade built into the center of the trigger face. That blade acts as a mechanical safety block. The sear physically can't release unless you deliberately press the blade with your finger during a real trigger pull, which means the main trigger can be adjusted down to around 2.5 pounds while still passing every drop safety test on the books. That's a big deal. Savage basically proved you could have a safe trigger and a good trigger at the same time. And it forced every other manufacturer to go back and rethink their own trigger designs. Pair that trigger with a cold hammer-forged barrel and a solid bolt action, and you've got a rifle that shoots way better than it has any right to at this price point. Downsides? The base model synthetic stock feels kind of hollow and cheap, and the stamped metal magazine can be a little fussy to seat sometimes. But for the money? Hard to complain. MSRP is around $250. Street price is usually $200 to $230. That's one of the best deals in the entire firearms market. Number 7. The CZ457. This is where things get interesting for the precision crowd. The CZ457 is built to tighter tolerances and uses better materials than a lot of centerfire hunting rifles that cost twice as much. And that's not an exaggeration. CZ, out of the old Brno factory in the Czech Republic, treats their rimfire line with the same seriousness as their centerfire precision rifles. Cold hammer-forged barrel, which aligns the steel grain structure for consistency and durability. The action is machined from solid steel billet with a short 60-degree bolt throw that clears big scope bells easily. And here's the really clever part: a modular barrel system. You can swap between 22LR, 22WMR, and 17HMR with just a torque wrench. Same rifle, 3 calibers. This gun absolutely dominates precision rimfire competitions. Matches where you're hitting golf ball-sized targets at 200 yards. That's the level we're talking about. Out of the box, the accuracy is outstanding. The Turkish walnut on the premium models is genuinely beautiful, and the trigger is adjustable and breaks clean. The weight is noticeable though. This is heavier than your average plinker, and some guys don't love the polymer magazines. Personal preference. MSRP sits around $550. Real-world price is usually $500 to $530. For what you're getting, that's a steal. I'm curious. Drop a comment and tell me, have you shot a CZ457? And if so, how does it compare to whatever bolt gun you were running before? Number 6. The Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. When tactical rimfire rifles blew up in the late 2000s, most companies got lazy about it. They just took their standard aluminum AR-15 receivers and dropped in a 22 conversion bolt carrier. And it mostly sucked. Reliability issues, weight balance problems, constant jams. Smith & Wesson did something different. They designed the M&P 1522 from scratch. Dedicated upper and lower receivers molded from reinforced polymer, sized specifically around the 22LR cartridge. Not an AR-15 with a 22 kit shoved in it. A purpose-built 22 that happens to look and handle exactly like an M4 carbine. Because the internals are designed around rimfire dimensions and pressures, the blowback action runs reliably even with the cheapest, dirtiest bulk ammo you can find. That matters when you're burning through 500 rounds in a training session. Every external control mirrors a standard AR-15. Safety, mag release, bolt catch, charging handle, all in the same spots. So your manual of arms carries over perfectly. Magazine changes, malfunction drills, everything transfers. It's light enough for smaller shooters, and it takes standard AR trigger groups, grips, and stocks for customization. The one real limitation? Proprietary magazines. They work great, but you have to buy S&W specific mags. No universal options. And if you're a guy who likes the feel of forged aluminum, the polymer construction might feel a little toy-like to you. MSRP is about $500. Street price runs $430 to $470. Number 5. The Henry Classic Lever Action 22. Alright, this is one of my favorite bits of manufacturing cleverness on this whole list. Machining a traditional lever action receiver from a solid block of steel is expensive. That's why most centerfire lever guns cost over $1,000. Henry wanted to build a 22 lever action that any dad could afford to buy for his kid, so they engineered a workaround. The Henry Classic has a sturdy steel core inside the receiver. That's the part that actually contains the bolt and handles the pressure of firing. Then they wrap the whole thing in a beautifully finished zinc alloy shell. You get the classic look, The gorgeous bluing, the buttery smooth lever throw, all without the price tag that comes with milling an entire receiver from forged steel. Smart, right? And honestly, for 22 LR pressures, it's more than strong enough. The lever action on this gun is ridiculously smooth. The walnut furniture looks like it belongs on something twice the price. And the tubular magazine holds 15 rounds of long rifle. The trade-offs? Purists will point out it's not a solid steel receiver, and the side ejection makes traditional scope mounting awkward if you want to keep the classic lines. MSRP is $413. Street price is usually $350 to $380. For a lever gun with that fit and finish, that's hard to beat. Number 4. The Browning SA-22. Back in 1914, let that sink in for a second, John Browning designed a semi-automatic .22 rifle that ejects spent brass straight down, out the bottom of the receiver. In 1914, more than a century ago. He did this because he recognized that side ejection was annoying for left-handed shooters and could throw hot brass into your face or your sleeve. His solution was elegant. Bottom ejection, with a tubular magazine feeding through the buttstock. The entire top and sides of the receiver are enclosed, keeping out dirt, rain, and debris. This was literally the first production semi-auto .22 ever made, and the basic design has never needed a major update. Think about that. It's been over 100 years, and the thing still works perfectly. It's a true takedown rifle, too. Flip a lever, twist, and the barrel separates from the receiver. Packs into a small bag for travel. It's light, well-balanced, and completely ambidextrous with zero modifications. The downsides? The internal trigger mechanism is complex, not fun to take apart if you're a beginner. And that bottom ejection means hot brass can fall into your support arm sleeve if your technique is sloppy. This kind of craftsmanship isn't cheap. MSRP on a modern Grade 1 is around $820. Street price is usually $720 to $750. Number 3. The Remington Nylon 66. Okay, late 1950s. The idea of a plastic gun was basically science fiction. Shooters didn't trust anything that wasn't wood and steel, period. Remington, which was owned by DuPont at the time, decided to roll the dice anyway. They molded the entire stock and internal receiver housing from a proprietary polymer called Zytel, also known as nylon 66. Then they dropped in a steel barrel, a steel bolt, a few springs, slapped a thin sheet metal cover on top for looks, and shipped it. The gun world was skeptical, so Remington hired exhibition shooter Tom Fry to prove the point. Fry shot at 100,000 four hand-thrown wooden blocks with nylon 66 rifles. He missed 6. The guns never jammed, never failed, never needed a single drop of oil. That's not a typo. 100,000 blocks, 6 misses, 0 malfunctions. The practical result? This became the go-to rifle for trappers in Alaska, bush pilots in northern Canada, and farm kids across the Midwest. It doesn't rust, doesn't rot, doesn't freeze shut. At just 4 pounds, you almost forget you're carrying it. And here's the big picture legacy. The nylon 66 proved that polymer had a real, reliable place in firearms. Every polymer frame pistol that came after it, including the Glock, owes a conceptual debt to this weird little .22 rifle. The trigger is spongy because the polymer housing flexes, and if the nylon shell cracks from serious abuse, you're basically done. It's not repairable. But for a working gun in harsh conditions, nothing from that era came close. Discontinued in 1989. No retail price. On the collector market, a working example runs $400 for a beater, up to $800 or more for a clean Apache Black variant. Number 2. The Marlin Model 60. Here's a number that still blows my mind. Over 11 million units sold. That makes the Marlin Model 60 the best-selling .22 rifle of its type in history. And the reason it got there is a barrel manufacturing trick. Traditional rifling requires deep-cut grooves, machined slowly into the barrel. Expensive, time-consuming. Marlin came up with what they called micro-groove rifling. 16 shallow grooves pressed into the barrel with a carbide button in a single pass. Way faster to produce, way cheaper. And because the grooves are shallow, they deform the soft lead bullet less, which actually improves accuracy with standard ammo. So Marlin could build accurate barrels fast and sell the finished rifle for almost nothing. That's how you move 11 million units. The Model 60 itself is a tube-fed semi-auto with a birch stock, crossbolt safety, and a blowback action that just keeps running. It was the rifle sitting in every sporting goods store in America for decades. The rifle dads bought for their kids. The rifle behind the seat of the truck. 14-round tubular magazine means no detachable mag to lose in the grass. The action locks open on the last round. And that micro-groove barrel is weirdly accurate with cheap bulk ammo. The downside? Reloading a tube magazine is slow compared to swapping a box mag. And if you run waxy, dirty ammo without cleaning the action, it'll get gummed up eventually. Discontinued when Marlin changed ownership in 2020. No current retail price. But these are so common that you can find a solid working one for $150 to $200 at basically any pawn shop or gun show in the country. Tell me in the comments, how many of you had a Marlin Model 60 as your first rifle? I bet the number is huge. Number 1. The Ruger 1022. Alright, number 1. And honestly, if you know rimfire rifles at all, this shouldn't surprise you. But the reasons why it earned this spot might. When Bill Ruger introduced the 1022 in 1964, he did something sneaky. He styled it to look and feel like the M1 carbine, the gun millions of American men had carried in World War II and Korea. Same barrel band, same sloping hardwood stock, same general sight picture. He was banking on nostalgia, and it worked. But the real genius was inside the magazine. Rimmed cartridges like the 22LR are a pain to feed from a traditional box magazine. The rims catch on each other, lock together, and cause jams. It's been a problem since the beginning of semi-auto rimfires. Ruger solved it with a rotary magazine, a compact, self-contained unit where a spring-loaded rotor separates each round individually. The rims never touch each other. Feed is smooth and reliable every single time. That's not a small thing. That magazine design is a genuine engineering breakthrough that made the 1022 the most reliable semi-auto 22 on the market. And then there's the customization factor. People call it the AR-15 of the rimfire world, and that's accurate. You can buy a stock 1022 on Friday, and by Sunday you've swapped the barrel, stock, trigger group, and optics with basic hand tools. The aftermarket industry around this one rifle generates millions of dollars on its own. Over 7 million sold. It's the standard every other rimfire semi-auto gets measured against. The factory trigger is heavy and gritty. That's the one consistent complaint. And the standard iron sights are small and tough to pick up in low light, especially if your eyes aren't what they used to be. But those are solved with a 10-minute trigger swap and an optic. MSRP on the hardwood carbine model is $389. Street price? You can find them all day long for $279 to $299. At that price, there's really no excuse not to have one. Alright, that's the full list. 1022 LR rifles with engineering secrets that don't get nearly enough credit. From military trainers built like tanks to polymer experiments that changed the entire industry, the 22 long rifle platform has a deeper history and smarter engineering than most people ever realize. Here's what I want to know from you before I go. What's the 22 rifle you trust the most? The one you grab when you're headed to the range, or the one sitting in the back of your safe that you think more people should know about? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this one was worth your time, hit the like button, share it with somebody who'd appreciate it, and subscribe if you haven't. We've got a lot more of these coming. Stay safe out there.